Namaste, Chingus. It's your girl Kathleen, aka Kasurin, aka Sorin. And welcome back to another episode of Sorin's Soapbox. Get into it, get into it. Here on Sorin's Soapbox is where we talk about all things love, life, and the plot twist that comes with both. How y'all doing, family? What's up? How y'all doing? How your mama and them? Welcome back to another episode. Child, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This episode is probably gonna be a little bit more on the chiller side. We're just gonna do some catching up, some chit-chatting, all the things. But before we get into it, again, if you are a new listener, welcome. We love new people around here. Come on in, kick off your shoes, relax your feet, get you something to drink. If you are a returning listener, how you doing, fam? How your mama and them? Thank you for coming back. Thank you for showing your girl love and kicking it with me. Let's just get all the announcements out of the way. If you haven't already, because I don't know why you haven't, make sure you're following your girl on all social media platforms, that being Instagram and TikTok. If you're following me on Instagram, follow me on Sorin Soapbox. That's SORINS_SOAPBOX, or the same thing on TikTok. And also, if you listened to our last episode, we have launched a new Instagram account known as Sex in Context, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the episode. But that is SEXINCONTEXT. Come chat with your girl. Make sure you're following me on all platforms so you can stay up to date on what's going on, what's going down, the things that we're talking about here. Okay? So, how y'all doing, child? It is November. The year is coming upon us very quickly, okay? I'm ready to I've already tried to put up my Christmas decorations, but my sister is not having that. She wants her Halloween stuff a little bit longer. But child, it is November. Thanksgiving is literally next week. And then we are in the Christmas spirit and the Christmas holiday. And the next thing you know, 2026 is going to be upon us. Child, the year is just, as Casey and JoJo said, time is slipping away from me. Child, time is slipping away, okay? But let's get into today's episode. I normally like to start off the episode with what I call Sorin's life update, where I basically talk to y'all about what's going on. And to be honest, that's probably going to be most of this episode. It's just me getting into the life updates. And I want to talk about some of the books that I've read, even though, if I'm honest, I didn't read no good books last month or the last 2 weeks. And it's upsetting to me and my homegirls, but it's fine. But as far as life updates goes, as a lot of y'all may know, I was in Cali for my birthday. And y'all, it was such a great time. I have never been to California, and we specifically were in Anaheim for my sister had a conference that she was working at. And so I got an opportunity to tag along with her to go to Anaheim and spend the week. And when I tell you, it was probably literally the best time I've ever had. There was a couple hangups and hiccups along the way, but overall it was just a really great trip. For example, let's just start from the beginning, okay? Let's start from the beginning. So I was a little nervous about how flying would be, because obviously right now we're going through a government shutdown, TSA, all of the things. But luckily our airport is pretty small. We didn't run into any issues here. We're able to get through TSA with no problems, but we were running into issues with our flight getting delayed. I think our flight got delayed maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was fine, but it was just kind of annoying because we were supposed to originally leave at 9:30. I don't think we left here till maybe 11, and our connecting flight was supposed to be around 12:45. That ended up getting pushed out till 4:45. So yeah, luckily going to Cali was pretty easy. No issues, no problems. And even with TSA, that was my biggest concern, but that seemed to go through pretty well. No issues. But child, we got to Cali and we were waiting for our Lyft, because we don't do Uber around here because they support Mango Mussolini, so we do Lyft. So we were getting a Lyft, and the Lyft driver started yelling at us and like fussing at us because he couldn't find us, even though we gave him very clear directions and instructions on where to pick us up in the airport. Because the way the airport is set up is like literally like they have a big sign of like Uber, Lyft, and other like pickup rides or taxi rides. So it's like literally like a line for all the cars to pick up their person. And I guess this person couldn't read or whatever the issue may be. And so like there was no reason for this person to get lost. So they called us and started yelling at us, and I was like, I don't like that. Like it was already late being in Cali. Like I mean, I think it was like 6 or 7 p.m. But still, I'm like, we're not from here. You yelling at me. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm not in the mood. Like don't try me. And so he ends up like I guess parking in this random spot and walks up to us. He's like, I'm here. I told y'all I was here. And we were like, we don't even see your car. How are we supposed to know? He's like, I'm right over there. And I was like, sir, be for real. Your car is in the cut. Can't see your license plate. Can't see the make and model of the car to even see if it matches up. It's nighttime and you yelling at two women in the dark. Be so freaking for real. I said, no. I was like, I don't like your energy. So we both were like, we don't like your energy. We're not riding with you. Cancel the ride. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. I'll take you. I was like, no, don't change your tune up. Don't change how you acted now. Keep that same energy that you rolled up on us with. You got the right one today. We're not riding with you. And so he's like, well, you cancel the ride. No, you cancel the ride because like you got here, but we're not riding with you because you wanted to be nasty. You wanted to be rude. So yeah, and then he ended up leaving, and some of the other women were like, yeah, he was giving shady. He was giving crazy. Like I want to roll with him. And I was like, yeah, because I'm not from around here. Get that straight. So that was the like initial like weird, but then we got someone who was completely like polar opposite, sweet gentleman, just kind. And I was like, okay, guy, you got us. Like I'm not tripping about it. But that was just like a really weird interaction to start. But other than that, like the hotels were nice. Everybody was just really nice and kind. Again, outside of that weird Lyft driver, but we got to eat at like really nice restaurants. I will say though, I mean, I'm sure everybody already says this, but Cali is expensive. Child, like Cali is expensive. And I was just like, yeah, like it's nice for the vibe. It's nice for the aesthetics, but to live or like you gotta have money for real. So I will say that. But yeah, my birthday was on Tuesday and we had to check into another hotel. Like I said, we were there for a specific conference. And so we had to switch to the hotel that the conference was going to be at. And the front desk were just like, oh, happy birthday. We'd love to set up your room and decorate it for your birthday. And I was like, oh, okay. This is a nice little treatment. I like this. And so we had to quickly leave to go to Disney. And I'd already been to Disney World before, but this is obviously my first time going to Disneyland. And so I was like, yes, set up the room, headed over to Disneyland. And I'm gonna tell y'all, the only agenda and the only thing I cared about at Disneyland was to see Princess Tiana and to ride the Haunted Mansion ride. Like, I didn't care about nothing else, if I'm being honest. Like, yes, I'd seen a bunch of TikToks about the food and all the other stuff, but I was just like, I just want to see Princess Tiana and ride the Haunted Mansion ride because it was like Nightmare Before Christmas theme. And that is literally one of my favorite Halloween and Christmas movies because it's both. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. And so I was like, no, we have to go. So those were like the two main things I wanted to do, and to take pictures in front of the castle and some other places because we had like the lightning passes and all of that other stuff. So yeah, I go to like the guest services and I was like, hey, do y'all know where Princess Tiana usually like shows up? And they're like, well, she doesn't have her own like little station, but she does show up around like Tiana's place and the New Orleans like park or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, she like on the app, it gives you the times. So I was like, bet. I literally made a beeline down there. And I was just like, I need to see her. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I don't like the fact that Princess Diana doesn't have her own little like set place. And I realize she's not the only one because, like, for example, I saw Jack Skellington and Jack Sparrow and they kind of just like roam around and walk around. And I get it, but like she's a Disney princess. And I just think it's weird that the other Disney princesses get their own little castles and their own little stations, but like she walks around. But we know why. I'm not going to dwell on it. It be that it. So anyways, we were standing there and it was time for her to come out. And I'm looking all over the place thinking, I'm like, we're in front of Tiana's place. So I'm like, maybe she'll like walk around through the restaurant and things like that. We don't see her. And I was scared to like move out of the spot we were in because I didn't want to miss her, because like it was an hour between the time we were going to see her and then the next time she was supposedly going to come out. And I was like, Lord, if I do not see Princess Tiana, I'm probably going to cry. I'm legit going to cry. Because next to Princess Belle, she's literally one of my favorite Disney princesses, period. So I'm walking around, I'm asking people, like, hey, has anybody seen Princess Tiana? They're like, no, but she's supposed to be out at this time. She usually walks around. And I was like, I promise you, if I don't see Princess Tiana, I'm finna fight that mouse. Like, I'm finna put my hands and paws and feet on this mouse. So we're walking around and we get to this one spot and I'm like, let's just turn back around one more time. And if I don't see her, then I don't know. So we're walking around, and I also want to be clear, I'm looking for her thinking she's wearing, if you're familiar with the movie, she's wearing like her infamous wedding dress, the green and white one with the flowers. I'm thinking that's what she's wearing. So I'm walking around and I'm like, I don't see her at all. So as we turn back around, I see this beautiful Black woman. Her hair is pinned up a certain way and she's got on all green. And I said, is that who I think it is? I said, I know my eyes do not deceive me. I was like, I think that's Princess Tiana. And I looked to my sister. She's like, you go on ahead. I'm not finna run after her. I said, bet. I literally ran down there because she was literally like next to the bayou that they had set up. I literally ran down there, and sure enough, she was there. She was wearing the, again, if you're familiar with the movie, when she opens up her actual restaurant, and I think she's wearing like the green dress. If you see my pictures on Instagram, then you'll know the outfit I'm talking about. But I believe that's the outfit she wears when she officially opens Tiana's place. So had I not noticed that, I probably would have missed her. Because again, I thought she would have been in her like wedding dress essentially. But I realized that like because they opened up Tiana's place and because they have like the bayou ride, that it makes sense for her to wear that. And that's probably a lot more, I don't know, I guess convenient to wear, even though the other princesses be wearing their actual dresses. But I digress. But I got to see her, and when I tell y'all, she was so freaking beautiful. Like her skin was just smooth. The melanin was melanin. She just was stunning. And I was talking to her and I just wanted to cry. And she was like, you are just so precious and so beautiful. She said, can I hug you? And I said, oh my God, I wanted to hug you. I'm telling you, it took everything in me not to break down and cry. And I get it. For some people, they don't get the hype around Disney. Disney doesn't make sense to them. I'm not ashamed to say I'm a Disney adult. If I had the money, I'd buy up everything Disney. I would go to Disney every quarter if I could. If not, like at least once every 6 months. I would go to Disney often, and I would probably switch between Disneyland and Disney World, especially where I live. Like I'm in between both, but I would also like to go to the Disney's international, like the Disney Paris and Tokyo. I'd love to see what those look like, especially now that I've been to both Disney World and Disneyland. I would love to see what Tokyo and Paris look like, especially, again, I know I'm ranting, but I would love to see how they do Beauty and the Beast in Paris. Oh my God. I probably would lose my mind. I probably would lose my ever-loving mind to see how they reenact Beauty and the Beast. Oh my God, don't get me started. Anyways, so I got to see her, got to take pictures with her. And then we got to do the haunted mansion. And because we had lightning passes, child, what's a line? I don't do lines, okay? Me standing in a line? Absolutely not. So we got to do that. That was pretty fun. I loved it because, again, Nightmare Before Christmas, please. And I'm just so mad I didn't get a picture with Jack. I was more adamant about getting a picture with Princess Tiana that the thought of taking a picture with Jack Skellington, I just was like, dang. And then I didn't get to see my girl Maleficent. So it was tricky. It was tricky. I had to weigh out what my priorities was. But I was like, I'm dressed as Princess Tiana. I need to go see Princess Tiana. And the thing is that we were originally supposed to do 2 days, but like some plans fell through. And the first day I was going to dress up as Maleficent and look for her so that obviously like I could give her flowers, especially because all over TikTok, the Evil Queen and Maleficent have been doing their big one. And so it would have been such fun to see Maleficent and just tell her how much of a, like, how she's my favorite villain of all. Especially because my sister dressed up as Ursula. So I think that would have been like fun that I was Maleficent and she was Ursula and we were just walking through the Disneyland. But it just means I have to go back and make sure that I go see my girl. But seeing Jack Skeleton would have been dope as well. But riding the ride was cool. And then we just did the tram around Disney so that like we could kind of see what all the different parks look like. We took pictures in front of the castle. And then we bought some merch because duh, why would I leave Disneyland and not get merch? Are you crazy? I got me the villains popcorn bucket, and then I got this Disneyland, like I think it's the 70th anniversary, like the sweat jackets, like the zip up. So yeah, I got that. Those were my two little merch. When I saw somebody else have the villains popcorn bucket, and I was like, I don't want the popcorn, I just want the bucket. And so I asked Leia, I was like, do I need to get the popcorn to get the bucket? She was like, no. I said, bet, because I'm not finna eat I'm not finna eat that. Just give me the bucket. So I'll probably fill it up with popcorn at home, but I just wanted it for the fact that it had the villains. Like, again, literally outside of Princess Belle and Tiana, I love the villains, okay? I love the villains because they need origin stories. Scar, Jafar, and his little sassy. Scar isn't Jafar a little sassy, if I'm being honest. You know, a little how you doing? But anyways, but you know what? Whose background story I would love though? I would love Ursula's origin story. Because my theory is Ursula and King Triton, they had something going on. And King Triton was trifling. And he played Ursula. And I think, whatchamacallit, his Triton, I think actually belonged to Ursula and he stole it. That's my theory. That's my thoughts. I think they were intimate, and similar to like the Maleficent story that came out about how Maleficent and what was his name, the king, Sleeping Beauty's daddy, whatever his name is, the same way like the two of them were like intimate, and then he stole her wings so that he could, you know, be king or whatever. I think Ursula and King Triton has something happening between them, and then he betrayed her and she was like, bet, I'm gonna be in my villain era. That's just my thoughts. That's my theory. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. So that was Disney. And then the rest of the week was pretty chill. I hung out with some friends who live out in Cali. So I got to go to the Getty Museum, which I thought was pretty cool. Got to do a garden tour and a cultural tour. So like seeing a lot of the different paintings from the French Revolution, from imperialism, and all of that. And so yeah, Cali was a vibe. Again, expensive for my taste, but it was a vibe. And I had a good time, so I loved it. My birthday it just was an amazing day. I was crying and boohooing throughout the whole entire day. Like, honestly, I think for me, the biggest takeaway I had from my birthday was that you couldn't tell me that God didn't love me. Like, you couldn't tell me that God didn't love me. And that might be silly if you're a Christian. You're like, what do you mean? Like, God loves everybody. Yeah, I know. That's part of like my faith journey, is that I sometimes feel like God loves me as far as like the collective, and that he sees me as part of the collective. I struggle with feeling like he loves me and sees me individually as like me by myself. And my birthday just felt like, yeah, God was like, you don't got to worry about it. I got you. Like from the time midnight hit and my sister prayed over me, and it just like I started crying, and then the birthday wishes I was receiving, even like the front desk and them decorating the hotel for me, and you know, cake, you know what I mean, like that just was sweet. I've never had that happen before, but that was just like such a sweet little thing that happened. And then even when we were waiting for Princess Tiana, people were just like, hey, I bought these beignets and I realized I'm probably not going to eat them all. Would you like some? Like, people were sharing their beignets, and I was like, what the heck? Like, that's crazy. Just like the kindness of strangers. And again, people just were like speaking blessings over me, friends, family. And I just was like, oh yeah, like I think if I like have amnesia about God's love for me, I think my birthday was just like is a day for me to just look back and be like, nah, like God was bragging and showing off and showing out for me, because it just didn't, like, the things that were happening just didn't make sense at all. But yeah, after Disney, we had a birthday dinner. Again, the whole trip was just great. It just was great. Now, the last leg of it, child, again, I think this is just with the government and everything going on, because flying back was hell. You hear me? When I say hell, I mean hell. So we left Sunday morning. And again, we had an early morning flight, 9 a.m., which I never want to do that again. But maybe it was to our benefit. But we got up hella early again, got to the airport, got through TSA relatively quickly, didn't have any issues, didn't have any problems. And then we boarded our flight, and then all of a sudden we weren't moving. And I'm like, why are we not moving? Like, what's going on? That's when the pilot talking about some, oh, we're having issues with the hydraulics, and then this. I was like, hydraulics? What are we talking about here? And he just was speaking a language. I was like, I don't understand none of the words that are coming out of your mouth. What are we saying? Can the plane fly or not? Because you're using words I don't know. Like, he was using words that I don't know. And so basically, we had to deboard the plane. And for some people, they had to, get new plane tickets. And so luckily for us, it was just like, okay, we just needed to wait for our flight to be rerouted, because they was giving everybody vouchers. And I'm like, I'm confused. But the app said for us, like, oh, we went from 9 to 11. So we're like, okay, cool. Child, our original flight was supposed to leave at 9. We did not leave California until 5:30 p.m. We were in California for 12 hours, and I'm counting the time I woke up. I woke up at 5:30 and did not leave California until 5:30 p.m. So I had been up for a full 12 hours. Mind you, we were supposed to be home by 6 p.m. So already the day is gone. So, because like by this point, they had rerouted our flights like over and over. Apparently, they needed to swap the tires on the flight as well. I was like, what is happening? It just was the stupidest thing. And then we looked it up online, and apparently, like 270 something flights from American Airlines had been canceled all that day. So I don't know if it was just like a freaky, weird day, or just, I don't know, child. But yeah, we were there all day. So much so that a lot of the people that we were on the first flight with, like, just left the airport. And I'm like, my sister and I were like, well, what's the plan? Like, what are we going to do? We're like, let's just get to our connecting flight, because the connecting flight will be a lot closer to home than where we are in Cali. Because like, if we're in Cali, like, we're stuck. So we're like, we're going to stay at the airport until we get to our like midway point, and then we can figure it out from there. So we're like, cool. So yeah, we ended up on the 5:30 flight, which means like we would get back at like 9:30, 10, because obviously like daylight savings time has ended. And so like the clocks were going, I think back. Yeah, back. So child, it just was a long day. The only good thing about it was that because it was so late in the day, the plane was half empty. So literally everybody could have a row to themselves. Like my sister and I had a seat in between us that was empty. The girl who was supposed to sit in the row with us, she sat in the row in front of us because it was empty. So that was the only benefit, was that like the plane was half full. So that was the only benefit. But child, we get to the next airport. They talking about, oh yeah, you gotta pick up your bag. We go to the baggage carrier, the baggage claim. Child, our bag's not here. Why would y'all tell us the bag is here if it's not here? Then they talk about some, oh, your bags will make it to your final destination. So baby, we ain't got no clothes. All I got is toothbrush and toothpaste and some underwear in my suit, in my bag. And I was like, well, thank God for that. Okay. Thank God my grandmother is proud, because my grandmother's like, at least make sure you got some underwear in your bag if you stranded. I was like, well, she'd be proud because I got my toothbrush, my toothpaste, and that. So they gave us overnight vouchers for hotels and food. So we're like, okay, let's try and make the best out of this. I wish I could say it got better. It did not. We ended up staying at a Motel 6, and I don't trust hotels or motels that have numbers in them. If the numbers is from 1 to 9, I don't trust it. We stayed at a Motel 6, baby. Baby. So I'm traumatized just remembering the story. So we get to the hotel. We get to the motel. Let me not say hotel. Let me correct myself, because words matter. We get to the motel. We're standing in line to check in so we can give them our voucher number, all the things. And my sister and I are just in the line. We're delirious. Like, you ever be so tired you feel drunk? That's what it was given. That's what it was given. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying, and that's what it was. Laugh to keep from crying and just drunk with delirium. So we're standing in line, and this man in front is like talking to them, trying to get his room. And they're asking everybody, like, what time do you want to take the shuttle back to the airport? And this man, with all the vim, said, oh, I'll take the shuttle after breakfast. And the guy was like, breakfast? We don't serve food here. And he was like, y'all don't got no food here? When I say my sister and I were cackling. Because, sir, where do you think you're at? This is not the Holiday Inn. Like, this ain't the Comfort Inn. Breakfast? Sir, let's be for real. You don't want to eat nothing that's here. Let's be for freaking real. You don't want to eat nothing that's here. Like... That man was so confused. What do you mean there's no bread? I was like, oh, sweet summer child. You don't know. I said, baby, please. So anyways, we get our hotel. We get our room key. Y'all, we got in that room. I said, I'm not putting none of my stuff on the floor. I'm telling you that for the free. None of my stuff is touching the floor. The floor looks clean, but looks are deceiving. And sure enough, I turned the corner, and on the side of the bed is the biggest cockroach I had ever seen in my life. The way I screamed, I said, oh my God. I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. Are we going to leave it? Like, it just was like, it was too much happening all at once in this night. And so my sister was like, what are we going to do? I said, I don't know. I have decision fatigue. My brain doesn't work. I'm tapped out. I don't know. And so she puts the trash can over it. Like, okay, like if it's stuck within the trash can, like we're good. And I said, baby, there's nothing good about this. And mind you, it's 1 a.m. It's 1 a.m. I'm done. Like when I say I'm done, I'm done. I'm running on fumes at this point. So I'm like, we need to get some sleep. But after seeing that, I don't know what type of sleep we get. I'm like, we need to brush our teeth. I was like, I'm not using this water out the fountain, out the faucet. So luckily we had a bottle of water from earlier. We literally it was like Haiti, okay? We just had a little cup, fill it up with water, and we just brushed our teeth with that. I was like, I'm not letting this faucet water touch my toothbrush at all. Like, no. So we did that. And if y'all know Tiffany Pollard, aka New York from Flavor of Love, there is a meme of her sitting on the bed with her sunglasses, just like annoyed. That is how I slept. And I use sleep with air quotes. That is how I attempted to fall asleep in this motel. Because I was like, I'm not getting under these covers. I'm not doing none of that. I was like, just sitting on this bed is questionable, okay? So I sat on that bed and sat up. I put my hood up because I had the Disney hoodie. And I was like, this is how I'm sleeping. My sister laid down and I said, you better than me because I'm not letting my face touch the comforter or blanket or whatever this is. I said, mm-mm. So like literally, I think it was like 1 a.m. and I think we were trying to see if we could stay at another hotel or stay somewhere else. But I was like, it's 1 a.m. The chances of someplace letting us stay the night is like slim to none. I was like, let's just try to make the best of this. I originally was fine with like sleeping in the airport, but I think there was just miscommunication between me and my sister about that. Cause I was like, girl, it's already 12. Like we might as well just stay the night in the airport. But she just misunderstood what I was saying. But I was like, yeah, I think next time either we just, bite the bullet and pay for a nicer hotel, or we just stay the night in the airport. Because I've done that before. When I used to travel home from South Korea, I would have a long layover in San Francisco. And first of all, I was like scared to leave the airport because I didn't think they would let me back in. But now I know obviously you can. But yeah, I was just like, I would just sleep in the airport and then just go to my terminal once I knew what my gate was. And so I think like we were just like, hopefully this doesn't happen again. But should it happen, we are now on the same page of what our game plan is. But yeah, I promise you, I was sitting on that bed, eyes like whatever little bit of sleep I could have. We got up, like, as soon as the alarm for 5:30 went off, the way I jumped out of that bed. And my sister was like, dang, you ready to go? I said, I don't want to spend an additional minute in here that I don't have to. And so I'm packing up my bag. I said, the only thing I want to do is use the bathroom and get out of here. Child, I go to the bathroom. I flip the switch on, another roach. I said, I ran out of there. I said, let me get my stuff and get up out of here. Because I don't know if it's the same one from earlier or its cousin. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not asking questions. Let me get the hell out of Dodge. And so I got the hell out of there so fast. And then again, as I told y'all, there was a shuttle that was supposed to take us to the airport. We didn't even wait for the shuttle. We just paid for a lift to just go. We spent way too much money, honestly, but listen, if you were in my place, I imagine you probably want to get the hell up out of there. You'd want to get out of there. You'd want to skedaddle. So that's literally what happened. And then thank God we got to the airport. Again, TSA went through fine. We got to our gate just fine. Our flight boarding just fine. We got back home fine. We got our bags fine. We took a lift. We got home. I promise you, I didn't know if I wanted to eat or sleep. Luckily, my sister, she had ordered us food to get to the house around the same time that we would get here. So I didn't have to make that choice. I literally ate. I took me some pain reliever and an allergy medicine. And I took off the clothes that I had on in that Motel 6 and threw it immediately in the washer because I didn't even want to try and step into my room with God knows what was on my body. I said, I immediately just threw everything in there, took a shower, jumped in the bed, and I knocked out for the rest of the day. I just couldn't believe that is how the trip ended. I was like, oh my God, because why would my life be simple, right? If you've known me since college, maybe even before then, but I'm gonna say specifically college, I have stories for days about just the most outlandish things that have happened to me, the most freakiest, weirdest, just crazy stories. I was telling my students about something and they were like, you have multiple lures. And I was like, oh, do I? They were like, yeah, because you have your Jersey lure, and then you went to school in Virginia, and then you lived in Korea, and now you're here. So it was like, you have multiple lures. And I was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. But baby, I just have so many stories that are just so weird. But yeah, child, I couldn't wait to be home. When I tell you I could not wait to be home and to be in my own bed, that shout out to people who this is their life. They travel regularly. You live out of a suitcase. Again, Cali was amazing, but I was ready to be home. And I say that as if I'm not about to be on another trip. Literally next week. All I have is this week, and I'm trying to get in as much as possible, recording this episode, editing, and making sure it's out on time. I have to work this week because they just asked me to come in, and then I have some other stuff. I have to repack my suitcase because your girl's going on another trip next week. I'm not going to complain because it's an amazing opportunity, but still, I am exhausted. And then not only that, we come back and it's the week before Thanksgiving. We have Thanksgiving plans, and then it's December. And honestly, once December comes, don't nobody ask me for nothing. Don't nobody ask me to come out for nothing, to do nothing with them. I just want to chill for the month of December. Pas Monday, yeah. Quitte mon repos. When I say December better come in, and only thing I want to do is fa la 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 and mind my business, okay? I just want to have me a good time. It be that said, it be that's all. I don't want to do nothing else because November, like I said, just got back from Cali. We about to go somewhere else. I'll let y'all know when I get back. We about to go somewhere else, or if you follow my socials, you'll find out sooner where I'm going. But going on another trip, then we have Thanksgiving. We're not doing anything for Christmas. I think Christmas. Oh, and then there's Wicked. How could I forget? Literally, I have this week. We come back and then we have Wicked. And y'all might be like, what do you mean Wicked? We're doing the double feature. So we have tickets to go see Wicked Part 1 and then Wicked for Good back to back. So we're spending an entire day in the movie theater on the 20th. I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to that. But just to add to everything else that's going on. So we have that. And then we have Thanksgiving the following, because I think we're spending Thanksgiving with my best friend. So we got to travel. Luckily, that's a local travel, but still, got to go see her. And then December, yeah, I don't want to do nothing for December. Don't ask me to do anything. If it I think the extent of the activities I'm willing to do is like Christmas oriented activities. That's it. I'm not even going to list off, but like some Christmas oriented activities is probably the extent of what I'm willing to do, because I'm exhausted and the month has just started. Like November just got here and I'm already exhausted. So yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the books I read, but like I said, let me check real quick. I read 6 books from October 15th to today is the 3rd that I'm recording this. And out of the 6 books, I have DNF'd 4 out of the 6. 4 out of the 6 books I have DNF'd. And 2 of the books I read were pretty good. So yeah, I'm not going to go into them. Normally I would do my whole little spiel about the books and read them and stuff like that. But for the sake of time, for the sake of my fatigue and everything else, I just wanted to just say I read 6 books from October 15th till now, and I DNF'd 4 out of the 6. And I DNF'd them all at different periods. So some of them, I usually like to get to like 50% before I DNF them. But sometimes, again, because of my fatigue and surprise, apparently your girl has ADHD. I have not been officially diagnosed, but my mentor kindly read me for filth that I have ADHD. And when I look at all the different, aspects of a person who has the ADHD, especially how it shows up in Black women, ding, 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 your girl hits the mark. And I was like, oh, that's why I have difficulties in certain things, or that's why I react and move in certain ways. So that's fun. Being 38, realizing that you have ADHD and not really understanding that for the past 38 years of your life. But that's another story for another day. But the fact of the matter is, I tend to read books at least 50% to make the decision on whether I'm DNFing them. But I realize it's too many good books out there to waste my time on a bad book. If I know the book is bad by chapter 5, then DNF it. If I know a bad book is a bad book by chapter 2, or I won't say bad book, if I know I'm not feeling the book by chapter 2 or by chapter 5 or by chapter 15, I'm allowed to say, I don't want to finish this. On to the next. Because the people pleaser in me is like, oh no, you should finish it and give the book a chance. Why? I don't have to. So yeah, that's how I was able to get the 6 books, because I just was like, this doesn't feel like a good time. This character is annoying me. I don't really understand what's going on. This doesn't feel like my vibe. So DNF. Anyways, so yeah, that's that. And I think lastly, I just wanted to go over the fact that if you didn't know already, I officially launched my sexology business of Sex in Context. Yay! Clap, 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 clap. Please follow the Instagram page, because I'm going to try and post some content on a consistent basis. Just give me some time. In the meantime, between time, make sure you're following it. And I also have a Substack. So also titled Sex in Context. I released my first newsletter. I basically talk about what made me start Sex in Context, how my life journey got me to wanting to be a sexologist, how I got here, all the things. So yeah, I'd really love it if you would sign up for the newsletter. It is, if you go to any of the social medias that I listed already, it is in the description box in the bio. Just click on it. It is free to subscribe for now. I might change it up and, charge a fee for it, but probably nothing crazy, like maybe $1 or $5, because your girl's gotta make money. Okay, if y'all know me, I'm a substitute teacher, and in this economy your girl's gotta make money, and I'm trying to have multiple streams of income. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm gonna be transparent and honest. And so yeah, if I can make money through this podcast, through the newsletter, through other means, I'm gonna tell y'all up front. And I would hope that, being my listener, that you would want to support me, because I put time and effort into any of this. But anyways, I digress. So Again, Sex and Context is now out in the world. Please follow on social media. Also, please subscribe to the Substack and make sure you follow Sorin Soapbox on Instagram and TikTok as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. I just wanted to come and talk to y'all about my birthday trip and how that was, and just try to get this out there because my brain is just fried and died. And don't say I don't love y'all, because I wanted to still come on here and record despite everything going on around me. So I love y'all for real. With that being said, your girl is off her soapbox. See ya.